Stay still.
3 days ago, I made a choice. A stupid choice, maybe? A human choice? Yeah. I stopped to help something that could kill me. Now, I'm the one needing help. But out here, in this white void, nothing hears you scream. Nothing cares. The wind just takes your voice and shreds it. So, here's the situation. I'm in East Greenland, isolated. Just my knife, my metal canteen, and the clothes on my back. The plan was a point-to-point trek, 20 miles to the extraction fjord. Hard, yeah, but doable. Standard survival run. I've done cold before. I've done -40, -50. But this is different. This is the kind of cold that snaps metal. The kind of cold where your gear fails, your body fails, and your mind starts playing tricks on you. About 4 hours ago, I saw him, a timber wolf, massive gray shape against the white, caught in a rock slide down in a ravine. Looked like he'd been there a while, leg pinned under a boulder that must have shifted with the thaw-freeze cycle. The smart survival move? The textbook move? Walk away. Save calories. Don't risk a bite from a panicked apex predator. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't interact with wildlife, especially not predators. But looking at him, seeing that panic in his eyes, the way he was thrashing, wearing himself out, I couldn't do it. Just couldn't walk past. Externally, looking at the footage, I probably looked calm approaching him. Internally, I was terrified. A wolf in a trap is a chainsaw with fur. I used a dead branch, wedged it under the rock. The leverage was terrible.
Hold on, just
the rock was frozen to the ground. I had to push, and really push.
Stay still.
I was screaming with the effort, veins popping, boots slipping on the ice. It took everything, like every ounce of glycogen I had stored up. Finally, the rock shifted, just enough. He scrambled free, limping fast, bolted into the white without looking back. No Disney moment, no thank you, just gone. But the effort, it cost me. I was sweating. And in the Arctic, sweat is death. It's the #1 killer. You sweat, the moisture seeps into your base layers, you stop moving, it freezes, and you get hypothermia from the inside out. It's a promise. Now the sun's dipping, wind chill is dropping to numbers that don't even make sense. My sweat layer is freezing against my skin right now. I'm shaking. Uncontrollable shivering. That's stage 1. I need shelter. Not in an hour. Now. First priority, get out of this wind. The wind is the executioner here. The air temp is bad, sure, but the wind strips heat away faster than your body can make it. I need a snow trench, or a quinsy, but the snow here, it's not the fluffy Christmas stuff. It's wind-packed, hard as concrete, sintered. I tried digging with my hands first. Bad idea. Gloves got wet immediately. The snow was like hacking at styrofoam, but harder. Gritty. I had to use the knife to cut blocks. I started cutting a rectangle into the snowbank, pried it up, it snapped, crumbled into powder, too brittle. The moisture content was so low, it just turned to dust. Frustrating. I had to stop, breathe, think. Wasting energy on failed blocks is a death spiral. I went deeper. Cut a square, maybe 2 feet by 2 feet, levered it up gently with the blade. Careful. Got one. Solid slab. I need about, 40 of these? 50? To build a wall and a roof. I'm digging a trench shelter. Dig down, pile up on the sides, roof it over with blocks. It's the only way to trap my body heat. Every movement hurts. You know that feeling when your muscles are so cold they feel stiff? Like rusty hinges. Lifting a block felt like bench pressing my own weight. I'd lift, stumble, place it, pause, breathe, check my fingers. I caught myself zoning out a couple of times, just staring at the white horizon. That's dangerous. That's the warm, fuzzy phase before you pass out and never wake up. I had to slap my own face. Hard. Move, Alex, move. Talk to myself, kept the brain engaged. If you stop talking to yourself, the silence wins. I got the walls up, waist high, now the roof. This is the tricky part. If the roof collapses on me while I'm sleeping, I'm buried, suffocated in a coffin of ice. Heavy blocks over my head, I place them in a spiral pattern, leaning them in, creating a slight dome. Friction holds them. Then you gotta seal the cracks. Wind is like water. It finds every hole. I packed loose powder into the joints. It freezes instantly, like mortar. Nature's cement. Crawled inside, it's cramped, like a tomb, but out of the wind. The temperature difference is already huge. Outside, death. Inside, just misery. Big upgrade, but I'm still freezing. My core temp is dropping. I can feel it in my stomach, that cold knot. I need external heat. I need fire. Here's the problem with Greenland. No trees, not really, just dwarf willows, Salix herbaceae, little shrubs buried under the snow, or driftwood if you're lucky and near the tide line. I'm about a mile inland, so driftwood is a gamble I can't take. I started digging near the rock outcrops. Wind scours the snow there, exposes the ground sometimes. Kicking at the base of a rock, looking for anything gray and woody. Jackpot, sort of. Found some twisted roots. Dwarf willow. It's woody, dryish, but small. I need a lot of it. I spent 20 minutes just gathering a handful of twigs. My fingers were screaming. I lost dexterity, couldn't feel my thumb anymore. Looking back at this moment, I was dangerously close to frostbite on my right hand. I should have kept my mitts on, but I needed the dexterity to pull the roots. Trade-off. Fingers or fire. I chose fire. Crawled back into the shelter entrance. I have a ferro rod on my sheath. Sparks are hot, 3,000 degrees. But the tinder has to catch. I processed the willow. Crushed the fibers with a rock to make a bird's nest. It was tough, stringy stuff. Not like dry pine or birch bark, and it resisted. I put it on a flat stone. First strike, nothing. Hands shaking too much. Missed the rod entirely. The striker just slipped. Second strike, spark landed, died instantly. The cold air just sucks the heat out of the spark before it can ignite anything. It's demoralizing. You see the spark, you see hope, and then it vanishes. Come on, please. I huddled over, blocked the draft with my body, became a human windbreak. Third attempt, focused.
Almost.
Stopped shaking for 1 second. Scraped hard, a shower of molten sparks hit the gray fluff. A tiny curl of smoke. I held my breath. Don't blow too hard. Don't blow it out. Just a whisper of air. The smoke got thicker. Then a pop. A flame. Real flame. Oh man, that heat. You can't explain it. It's primal. It hit my face and I almost cried. Not from sadness, just relief. Chemical relief. I fed it tiny twigs. One by one. Don't smother it. Oxygen. Now, water. I have a canteen, but it's empty. And surrounded by billions of tons of frozen water. Irony, right? I packed the metal cup with snow. It takes 10 cups of snow to make 1 cup of water. It's a slow process. Melt, add more, melt, add more. I sat there for hours, melting, drinking hot water, feeling the warmth spread to my toes. The shelter warmed up. Not warm by normal standards, maybe just below freezing, but compared to outside, it was a sauna. Then I heard it. A sound that cuts through the wind. A howl. Distinct. Close. Too close. I froze. Hand halfway to my mouth with the cup. That wasn't the wind. That was a wolf. And it wasn't a hello. Wolves don't forget, but they also don't have friends. They have pack members, and they have prey. I'm not pack. I grabbed my knife. The fire was dying down. I had limited wood. If they come, I have a 3-inch blade against a pack. I waited, heart hammering against my ribs. Footsteps, crunching snow, or just the ice settling. Paranoia sets in fast when you're alone in the dark. I didn't sleep much that night. Every sound was a monster, but the cold was still the real enemy. The fire went out around 3 a.m. I ran out of Willow. The temp inside dropped. I curled into a ball, fetal position, knees to chest. Shivering started again. Just waiting for the sun, if it ever comes up. Morning didn't exactly break, it just sort of turned a lighter shade of gray. The wind died down a bit, thank God, but the cold was still there, sitting heavy on my chest like a physical weight. I tried to move my legs, and nothing happened at first. Panic, instant, sharp shot through me. I had to physically grab my thigh with both hands and shake it just to wake up the muscles. That's scary, you know? Waking up and realizing your body is halfway to checking out. I crawled out of the trench, clumsy, stumbling like a toddler because my joints were so stiff. The landscape was alien, just white, gray, and blue. No color, it felt hostile, like I wasn't supposed to be there. I checked my fingers immediately. Still there, but numb. The tips were white, waxy looking. Stage 1 frost nip. I had to get blood moving immediately or I was gonna lose tissue. I started windmilling my arms, forcing circulation, screaming into the silence just to get some adrenaline.
Damn it, move!
I didn't bother with a big breakfast. Didn't have one anyway. Just chewed on a piece of frozen jerky I had in my pocket. Hard as a rock. Tasted like salt and old leather. Better than nothing, I guess. I had to make miles. The extraction point was across the fjord, maybe 10 miles out. In deep snow, 10 miles it's an eternity. It's not like walking on a sidewalk. I started walking. 1 foot, sink to the knee, pull it out. Next foot, sink, pull. Rhythm is everything here. If you stop, you freeze. If you go too fast, you sweat and freeze. You gotta find that zone, that zombie zone, where you just exist and move. It becomes a meditation of pain. Step, breathe, breathe. About an hour in, I saw them. Tracks. Fresh ones, not mine. They were crossing my path, weaving in and out of the rock line. Wolf tracks, big ones. The pads were the size of my hand. I stopped, heart hammering against my ribs again. I looked around. Nothing but white silence. But you get this feeling, primitive brain stuff, lizard brain. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I knew I was being watched. I kept walking, hand on my knife handle, thumb rubbing the cold steel. It was the only comfort I had. Don't run, I told myself. Prey runs, predators walk. I forced myself to walk tall, to look confident, even though I felt like a frozen twig about to snap. The terrain started changing, the snow got deeper, softer, powder traps. I'd take a step and drop to my waist. It was exhausting. I was burning thousands of calories and I was running on empty. My vision started doing that weird tunnel thing where the edges get black and fuzzy. I stumbled, fell face first into the snow. It felt nice, soft, cold, but welcoming. I wanted to just lay there. Just for a minute, right? Just close my eyes and drift off. Looking back at the footage now, safely in my studio, this was the most dangerous moment of the entire trip. Not the wolves, not the cliffs, the nap. That desire to sleep is the end. It's the siren song of hypothermia. If I had stayed down for 5 minutes, I wouldn't be recording this voiceover. I would be a statue on that ice. I forced myself up, literally slapped my own face until it hurt, screamed at myself, "Get up! Move! Don't you dare die here!" My voice sounded swallowed by the snow, pathetic and small. I crested a ridge and there it was, the fjord. Frozen solid. A massive highway of ice leading to the coast. But to get there, I had to descend a steep scree slope covered in ice. One slip and I'm tumbling 500 feet into jagged rocks. I took it slow, sidestepping, digging the edge of my boot in. Kick, step, focus on the feet. Don't look down at the drop. Halfway down, I heard it again. A growl, low, deep, vibrating in the air. I froze. Slowly turned my head. There. to my left. Maybe 50 yards out. 3 of them. Gray, matted fur. Yellow eyes locked on me. They weren't hiding anymore. They were flanking. Hunting formation. 1 in front, 2 circling wide. "Hey!" I yelled. "Get back!" My voice cracked. They didn't flinch. They knew.
Get back!
They could smell the exhaustion on me, smell the weakness. In nature, weakness is an invitation. One of them, the smaller one on the right, took a step forward, teeth bared. I pulled the knife.
Get back!
It looked
Back.
like a toy. 3 wolves, 80 degrees
Stay
below
back.
zero, and me with a 3-inch blade. I backed up, boots sliding on the ice. I hit a rock, stumbled, and went down on one knee. This is it. This is how it happens. Not in a blaze of glory, but slipping on a rock while freezing to death. The middle wolf, the big one, dropped his head and lunged. I braced, arm up, waiting for the bite, but he didn't hit me. A blur of gray slammed into him from the side. A massive impact. Snarling, snapping teeth, fur flying. It was chaos. I scrambled back, pressing myself against the rock wall, knife out, trying to understand what was happening. The new wolf. He was huge, bigger than the others, broad chest, darker fur. He pinned the attacker, snapped at his throat, not to kill, but to dominate. A warning. He stood over the other wolf, hackles raised, a low rumble coming from his chest that I could feel in the ground. He turned his head, looked at me. And I recognized him. The scar on the flank, the slight limp in the back right leg. It was him, the wolf from the rocks, the one I spent 4 hours digging out yesterday. The other wolves backed off, whining, confused. They looked at him, then at me, then back at him. Hierarchy is everything to them. He was asserting it. He stood between me and the pack, a living wall of gray fur and muscle. He held that pose for, I don't know, felt like an hour, probably 10 seconds. The other wolves lowered their tails and slinked back. He looked at me one last time. Deep amber eyes. No aggression, just acknowledgement? Or maybe just calculating that I wasn't worth the fight anymore. He chuffed, turned, and trotted away. The pack followed him, disappearing into the white mist like ghosts. I sat there against the rock for a long time, shaking, not from cold this time, but from pure adrenaline dump. I laughed,
Oh, God.
a manic, broken laugh that echoed off the ice. "You gotta be kidding me," I whispered. Transactional nature. That's what they say, right? Nature is transactional. You give energy, you get food, but that felt like something else. That felt like a debt paid. I got up, the fear was gone, replaced by this insane drive. I had a second chance. You don't waste a second chance. I hit the ice of the fjord and I moved. I didn't walk, I marched. The pain in my legs didn't matter. The frost nip in my fingers didn't matter. I had fire in my chest. 2 hours later, I saw the orange flare of the extraction boat in the distance. Civilization, heat, coffee. I dropped to my knees on the shore. The boat crew was yelling, running towards me. I looked back at the ridge one last time. Nothing there, just the wind and the ice. This trip taught me something the books don't mention. Surviving isn't just about skills, it's not just about the knife or the fire or the shelter. Sometimes it's about the energy you put out into the world. I put out mercy, and the Arctic, for once, gave it back. Would I do it again? Risk my life for a wild animal that could kill me? Yeah, in a heartbeat. Because out here, we're all just trying to make it to sunrise. If you ever find yourself out here, respect the cold, respect the silence, and remember, you're never really alone. See you on the next one.